Hey there, we've got a real nice wintry day for cutting firewood today. And what we're going to do is take down another snag. And I'm going to back up here so I can move the camera up that tree. Anyway, I try to be even more careful with snags than I am with live trees because they are brittle, they're weak. But anyway, and you evaluate the lean on it. As we go up that tree, we can see the top drifts off to the left. So it wants to fall to the left. I don't want to try to make it go to the right. So we're going to make that go left. And what we'll do now is I'm going to pick up the camera. I'm going to pause this. And we're going to go around in front of that tree and look back. Basically, we want to get around 90 degrees around that tree, and we want to find a spot where there is no side lean, because these things will pop a hinge when they're side lean. We want to try to get this down with the hinge intact. So I'm going to pause this thing and move it, and we'll have a look at it from another angle. Okay, now here we are. We're out in front of that tree in the general direction where we want to drop it. And as we go up this tree, you can see it drifts over to the left. We're in a situation where that thing has a little bit of left lean. On a live tree, that wouldn't be much. But I want to try to make it to the ground with that tree. So it's leaning to the left a little bit. You can see that as we go up the tree. So we're going to pick up and move again. So I'm going to pause this and start over. And there we are looking at the tree. We've moved around the tree in a clockwise direction. And we go up now and we have pretty much a vertical tree from this standpoint. So I'm going to aim that tree in this direction. And it has forward weight, so it ought to go. After that deal last week where that tree sat down on the stump, I am going to put a wedge in there so this one doesn't do anything squirrely. That tree I had last week was had a little bit of back weight. I didn't realize it had, and that thing sat back on the stump. And if you listen to that, you can hear the front of that hinge pull apart as that tree sat down. It went backward just a little bit, and when it did, you could hear those wood fibers pop. And so I had no chance of bringing it over. Now I was doing that with my ears on. I couldn't hear it out there at the time I was doing it, but the camera picked it up, and I heard that later. So we're going to try not to do that again. Try to learn a little bit every time I do one of these. So I'm going to go fire up over there, and we'll talk about the stump before I start cutting. So we'll so you'll know what's going on as I cut this thing. I'm going to pause this again. Okay, there we have the stump, and let's see if I can get this camera to behave. Hold still. There we go. I'm going to move in on that. I'm going to get down there and show you what we're going to do to it before I cut, because once I start cutting I won't want to stop. There we go. Hope that's going to stay. Yeah, looks like she's going to stay there. Okay. Okay, now what we're going to do is make our aiming cut. Here I have a spot out there to aim at. We're going to make our aiming cut with the front of the tree here. Make a cut that meets it. And we have a choice then. Do I punch through the tree from this side or the other side? And I'm going to come around to that side, and here's why. As you're punching through that tree, the saw wants to rotate toward the top of that chain. This chain's going this way, it pulls the bar that way. Not a problem with most trees, but just for safety's sake, if I can punch it so it's pulling, so it's not trying to cut into the hinge, that's what I tend to do. Some trees like red maple will really pull your bar, and if you're not aware of that, it can get you in trouble. So I'm going to make my cut here. I'm going to come around and punch through here to make my the back side of the hinge. Then I'm going to cut out half of the back, put in a wedge for safety, cut out the other half, and then I'll make my escape. And there is a dead limb up there on top, so when the tree goes into motion, I want to be on the other side going away from it. So we're going to crank up and get going here and see how it goes. Well, that went really well. If you heard that second ka-whomp, I'm going to take the camera off here. See if I can get this thing off. There we go. You see, this tree was pretty rotten. And boy, that wood was pretty rotten, and that saw just practically fell through there, but it worked out really well. And we'll go up here. You heard that second whomp. That second whomp was this thing. That fell out of a hickory tree up above. And that is why you move away from that stump in a safe direction. I don't even know where that came from, but that is a hickory branch. I was watching over my shoulder as I moved away, and I saw that thing come down, and it made a big ka-whomp. So, you know, you wear your hard hat, you know where you're going to go, and you get away. The branches on this I was worried about. There was one on the left side. It is now gone. There it is right there. It's right there. So, you know, it's over 30 feet away from the stump, but it's in the direction the tree fell, and I was going the other way. But that one there was a bonus. You don't want spectators around when you're cutting trees, especially snags. But that was just a bonus there. That thing came down ka-whomp, and if somebody had been out here, it would have killed them. This top over here, it stayed attached all the way to the ground. And you see this crummy little white oak here. I was aiming to the right of that, right in between that tree and this hickory, and it came out real good. It came out just about right on the money, and got it down without getting hurt. That's a good thing. And boy, when my saw hit that stump, it just about fell in. That wood is really soft down there in the stump. once you start, you can't stop. And I don't know if I actually needed that wedge in there or not, but it didn't. It slowed me down a little bit. It didn't hurt having it in there. So you can see I had the wedge in here. Then I came in and got this part out. Had the wedge right here. Got that pounded in, and then took out this wood right here. So, firewood is an adventure. Pretty much went right where I aimed it. That's a good thing. So, be careful out there. Wear your hard hat. When you're doing this, you park your vehicle far enough away that it won't get hit if something goes wrong. So, parked a little buggy way over there, and I have it turned around heading out. If I get hurt, I want that thing headed toward the barn, so if I can crawl back to it, I can drive out without having to turn around. And you'll see experienced people in the woods always do that. They'll have their truck pointed out of the woods when they go to work, so they don't have to turn around. So, well, time to get back to work. So thank you for watching, and I'll try not to cut myself while I cut this up, and we'll do another one later. Thank you.